Go get him. Let's go. What's that? Oh, what's that? Let's get it, Russ. Let's get it, Russ. This dog has drug up the jawbone of a, what is that? Last night we came home from a ball game and they had drug up this sweet little chipmunk, dead as a doornail, on our back porch. Thank you guys, that was really nice of you. Hello and welcome to Dirt Road Believer. It's 30 degrees out here, but it is gorgeous. Look at these leaves back behind me, so I couldn't resist but to come outside. If my voice sounds a little froggy, we were yelling very loud at a game last night. I keep telling myself, stop yelling so much. You know, I use my voice for a living. I sing and teach in my music classroom, so I've got to calm down, but you'll understand why in a little bit. All right, guys, welcome to Dirt Road Believer. I am Tina on this beautiful fall morning in November. And this is No Doubt November, so you don't want to miss today's devotion, because all of us at one time or another doubt God's timing. We wanted it yesterday, and God thinks maybe down the road is best for us. So we're going to be talking about that, and I have a little announcement to make. Can you see? I am previewing the new Christmas Dirt Road Believer design. So I'm so excited, guys. December is going to be here before we know it, and I am just so excited. I have so many surprises in store and just things that are going to be extreme faith boosters in the month of December. So you do not want to miss. If there is ever a time to join, it's December, because we do our biggest giveaway of the year and just so much good stuff going on. And speaking of timing, this video turned out to be really fitting. My son Mac, precious Mac, he's the middle son. Let's just say he is not a fan of wrestling, okay? But he has been made to wrestle because my husband and I believe very much that, you know, it's important to be active and be a part of a team and all that it teaches, and whether it's sports or an instrument or any activity, we require that our kids be involved. So we have pushed wrestling on Mac these many years. He wrestled as a kid some. He's wrestled all the way through middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And we just had the biggest celebration ever the other night because Matt got his first win in 3 years. He pinned a kid, and Adam and I sort of completely lost it and may have looked ridiculous in front of a gym full of people, but I don't think they cared because they were jumping up and down for Mac too. We have the big, you'll just see in the video, like the wrestling family, the community that we have, they support each other so much, and they have wanted a win for Mac worse than Mac has wanted a win for Mac. So he has gotten some confidence under his belt, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that moment and how it meant a lot more than just a win for Mac, and how that sort of has tied to answered prayers for Mac. So please stick around for the devotion. This has been such an exciting week in the Dirt Road Believer family. We have so much going on. I'm going to share more with you on Thursday, but enjoy this wrestling video. These are actually my 2 wrestlers, Coleman in 7th grade, Mac in 8th grade. And I'll meet you right back here for today's devotion. amazing. Way to go, Golden! I was gonna say.
Work,
come on,
wrist
go to
control,
work.
work wrist control. Wrist control.
right, welcome back for today's devotion. I'm sort of hoping this neighbor dog calms down a little bit because he's really loud. But y'all, Max Wynn, I just want to tell you a little bit more. And sometimes I fear that, my kids may think I share things that are too personal. But this is sort of an archive for our family too. And so I like to share answered prayers because I want to be able to go back one day and them to go back one day and see how God's hand was at work all along. So I've shared this with you before. Every day when I pray over my children, I pray the spirit of someone from the Bible. Years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I sort of saw characteristics in each of my kids that I saw in people in the Bible. And so for Mac, that was David. And so every day I pray, one of the things I pray is the spirit of David over Mac. Well, Mac has a lovely voice. He has great, he just has musical instincts. And so when I've prayed that, I have always thought, Mac's going to be praise and worship leader one day, or, something along the praise and thanksgiving lines. But when I laid my head down that night and I was just thinking about Mac and his big win, and by the way, you could probably see that his opponent was like a head taller than him. David and Goliath just came to mind, and I was just so grateful. I was like, God, I've been praying this whole time for a worship leader or, praise and thanksgiving, but you showed me a little piece of a heart of a warrior for you. All right, let's get into God's timing, guys. This is huge in the life of a believer because we know exactly what we need and we know exactly when we need it, right? Well, some good friends of Jesus thought the same thing today. So we're going to be in John 11 today. And this is talking about Mary and Martha, Lazarus, that family that was really more than friends to Jesus. They were a family to him. So let's read. All right, so we're pretty familiar with this passage probably. Jesus hears that his friend Lazarus is sick. He's requested to come. He doesn't. He waits 2 days before he goes, and by the time he gets there, Lazarus is already dead. And so we're going to pick up in verse 17. And it says, when Jesus arrived, he found Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Bethany was near Jerusalem, less than 2 miles away. Many of the Jews had come to Mary and Martha to comfort them about their brother. As soon as Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, but Mary remained seated in the house. Then Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Yet even now, I know that whatever you ask from God, he's going to give it to you. Now, let's remember Martha was the one scurrying about cleaning the house, while Mary was the one sitting at the feet of Jesus. We already see that Mary remained in the house. She did not go out to greet Jesus, which sort of gives us an insight into her emotional state right now. And so Martha says, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said, I am the resurrection. I'm the life. Anyone who believes in me, even if he dies, he's still going to live. So everyone who believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? And Martha says, yes, Lord, I believe you. You are the Messiah, the Son of God, who has come into the world. And so she goes back. Martha goes back to her sister Mary. And in private, she says, hey, Jesus is calling for you. He's kind of realized you're not out there. And so as soon as Mary heard this, she quickly got up and she went to him. And Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was in the place where Martha had met him. The Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw that Mary got up quickly and went out. They followed her, supposing that she was going to the tomb to cry there. As soon as Mary came to where Jesus was and she saw him, she fell at his feet and told him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Jesus saw her crying, and he was moved to tears. He began to weep as well and asked, where have you put him? Now Martha follows up her, Jesus, if you'd have been here, you could have done something, but still I believe you can do something. That's not where Mary is in her spirit, in her emotions. She just is like, you should have been here. We called for you. We told you to come, and you didn't come. Your timing was off, and it was actually on purpose. Because we know the rest of the story. He raised Lazarus from the tomb, despite the warning that he had been in there 4 days and was really stinky. Lazarus came forth from the tomb, and that day so many people believed. It changed things, and it's one of the greatest miracles in the Bible that we point to still today. And so Jesus' timing, God's timing, it is not our timing. And when we think, Jesus, you should have been there. Jesus, why didn't you do this? I asked, it was even a good thing I was asking for. Why did you not do it? And I think Lazarus' resurrection really points to the why. The why is because God is going to get all the glory. When he moves, when he acts on our behalf, and sometimes it's not in the way that we think is best for us. We're going to talk about that more Thursday, how we doubt that God knows what we need. We think we know what we need better. And so Jesus says it in verse, I'm going to go back to verse 15. He said, I'm glad I wasn't there for your sake, so that you may believe. But let's go to him. So Jesus even says on his way to Lazarus, I'm glad I wasn't there. He knows what's coming. He knows the timing of it all and how it is going to work in heavenly realms. So be sure that God hears us. Be assured of that. Verse 41 and 42 tell us that. In verse 41, he says, they removed the stone. Jesus raised his eyes and says, Father, I thank you that you heard me. I know that you always hear me. But because of the crowd standing here, don't you get near my tripod, Russ. Hello, friends. I'm in the middle of a devotion. But Jesus says, God, I know you hear me. You're hearing me even now. So rest assured, God does hear us. But God sees so much more, and he sees the bigger picture and how his timing is going to bring him more glory. We see doubting Thomas appear in this story. He says in verse 16, it says, then Thomas said to his fellow disciple, let's go too, that we may die with him. Thomas, who was ready to die with Jesus, this was in reference to the dangerous trip that it was going to be from where they were to where Lazarus was. Later on, we see that he doubts the timing of God. And where are you? Now we need you. Where are you? And so just thinking about my own life and timing, all I ever wanted to be growing up was a mama. And I got to those childbearing years, and it did not happen like my husband and I wanted it to happen. I did not get pregnant. And did we doubt God's timing? Absolutely. But I'm so happy that, by his grace, really nothing that we did, but his grace led us into wisdom, which led us into adoption, which gave us our first 2 children. So many times we think, where is God? Where is the timing that we yearn for? We want it to happen now. I can say the same for my marriage. I was ready as a senior in college to graduate and get married, and I thought, that was what I wanted, and that was not God's timing. That was not the person that God had for me. And so I just want to encourage you that if there's something that you're asking for and you think that you need it right now, or, God, if you'd only been there 3 years ago, I promise you he's there. And I encourage you to reach out to him in prayer. He hears you. Jesus tells us that in this story. He hears. He knows. Seek his wisdom through his word. And then I promise you, when it is God's timing, He will get all the glory and you will have a testimony that will just amaze everyone. So guys, I'm so glad that you joined me today. Oh, December's coming up. I kind of got the green light when I started driving through town and people have their Christmas trees and entire houses lit up with Christmas lights. I was like, I'm pulling out the new design. And so I want you guys to win one of these in December. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for being a part of this devotion today. I hope I haven't made you dizzy in the swing. But guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And until next time, slow down. Take the dirt road, believer.